Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is Jerry Sansing one more time with South Texas News and Reviews. This is December 30th. I can't believe this year is almost over, but the air times are Tuesday at 9 p.m., Wednesday at 8 p.m. It is on YouTube. Go into YouTube and put in Gerald Sansing, and you can get all of the back shows and so forth and so on. Please email me. I'm getting some good information in on that Gmail address. It's gsansing@gmail.com. So let me know what's going on. I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, there's your Pinocchio nose on most of the elected officials around here, and then some of the employees of different taxpayer entities. SETI, State, Delmar, you name it, and I want you to help me join Jiminy Cricket there and start holding them accountable, okay? Because they'll bend the truth anytime they get a chance. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, looks like the camera's running and the lights are on. I'm going to take my seat. We'll discuss a few things of interest, I believe, to all you taxpayers out there, and citizens and so forth and so on. And hope you get involved with the community. I've done this show for many years, South Texas News and Reviews. This is December the 30th, as I said before. I'd appreciate any comments you've got at gsansing@gmail.com. We're available on YouTube, both this show and the Taxpayer Show, which is what's going on in Corpus Christi. And just go into YouTube and put in Gerald with a G, Gerald, and then Sansing, and you got it. You can take your pick. I hope you will, and I'm getting some good feedback, so thanks to you people out there that are providing me with that, okay? All right, now, and I'm going to change glasses here. Those are a little bit too magnified. I'm at that age, you know, when you turn 36, you have to do things like that. Anyway, all right, air times, Tuesday 9 p.m., Wednesday 8 p.m. for this show. And what's going on in Corpus Christi, you can start with that one at, let's see, it looks like 8:30, and then 9 o'clock this one, and that's on Tuesday. And then we've got South Texas. This comes on at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, and that's followed at 9 o'clock with what's going on in Corpus Christi. So tune in if you could, please. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is dedicate the flowers here to Miss Connie, my mother, Miss Lynn, my deceased wife, and a good friend of mine, April 23. Just precious ladies, folks. And I won't get too deep into that one. You know how I feel about that. Now, one thing I do want to do is indicate that we've had some bog downs again with getting information out of this city about the ADA compliance and several other things. And I've got a vice president of the Taxpayers Association, Mr. Jack Gordy, and I are trying desperately to get the disabled in this town at least in a safe condition. And along with the disabled, there are people on the sidewalks that can't get by certain obstructions, and they either have to go into a busy street or into a busy parking lot, or parking lot with gas pumps in it too. That's at Carlton and Ayers. And then there's a fire hydrant sitting right in the middle of a sidewalk, essentially at Holly and Everhart, and that's been addressed. And Mr. Gordy and I and all the rest of the taxpayers are very, very concerned, ladies and gentlemen, that this city will not listen. The city council people do not listen. They basically don't care about the citizens of this town. It's all about them. And now we've got several of the city council people running for other office and so forth and so on, as if I'm going to vote for people like that when they can't even, voice their opinion at the city council meetings. Raise hell with that quote unquote. I've got mixed emotions. City attorney we've got 25 or 26 attorneys on staff. We're still spending $1 million, $1.5 million or so forth a year on attorneys from outside of the city, as if we don't have any competent people around here that we can do. So, you know, it's just amazing to me that this city is so backwards, and it starts with the mayor and the rest of the city council members. Okay, and I think this next election time we're going to change some more. Okay, all right. Now, I had written on September 11th, 2017, to the U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA compliance comes under them, the Civil Rights Division, and I got some curious news back from them. Okay, now the Department of Justice said that they're just too busy. They don't have time to be messing around and sanctioning the city or anybody else. Okay, now the sequence of events on September 25th, I got a copy back from, or a response from the City of Corpus Christi, Sylvia V. Wilson, Human Relations Administrator. And she said subject was my 9/11/17 letter to the U.S. Department of Justice. Okay? Now, she in this thing says that if a citizen wants to complain about ADA compliance, okay, then they can fill out this Citizens Accessibility Grievance form. Okay? Now, a fat lot good that's going to do if you send this down to the city, because the city attorney, the lead dog down there, Mr. Risley, he doesn't give a damn about disabled people. Okay? Now, the reason he doesn't, and the reason he ignores everybody that's screaming and yelling that we do need to take care of some of these problems, then he says, well, you know, Department of Justice isn't going to do anything to us down here, so why should we do anything for these poor people that are disabled? He doesn't give a damn about them, apparently. Neither does most of the city council and the mayor, or they do something about these. For instance, over there at Gulfway Shopping Center, it took a call to AEP to get those trees down out of that sidewalk because the trees were pushing up on the utility lines. And the city, I've got it in writing, said that they don't have to do that, okay? And that we don't have enough money to cut 4 or 5 palm trees down and then grind the stumps and pour a little concrete in the hole. Now, there is a fire hydrant there that's getting a little bit closer to McArdle on the Gulfway side, and Gulfway says that they will be glad to deed over a portion of the property there for the shopping center if they just go ahead and widen that sidewalk so you can go around the back of that fire hydrant instead of having to go into airline. I mean, you know, it's crazy, folks. So what good is this going to do? And why can't we get something other than from the Human Relations Administrator? And it says the city is cognizant of its responsibilities pertaining to the ADA and ensures that our facilities, programs, and services comply with the Act. No, they don't. They don't, ma'am. You know, did you have the Mr. Miles Risley, city attorney? Did you go ahead and have him write this letter? Through the assistance of the community and the Citizens Accessibility Grievance process, we can make our community as accessible as possible. You people don't give a damn. And I hope you watch this. I'm going to make sure that I get a hold of Sylvia V. Wilson, Human Relations Administrator, and then, you know, I hate to even contact Mr. Risley. He makes my blood run cold every time I see him sitting there with that face that he's got, that poker face at the city council meetings. And he's not going to do a damn thing for you citizens, folks, except cost you some more money. Okay? So those are the forms, and I'm hoping that I get a few more of the veterans groups around here, disabled vets, involved with this. And then what really burned me up was all the accolades that the city heaped upon Abel Alonzo after he passed away, saying that he was doing things for the good of the community and he was just such a hot shot. And he couldn't get around, folks. Okay? I think he filed a lawsuit at one time for ADA compliance. And, you know, maybe that's what I have to do. I'm going to go and see if I can get about 500 vets in this town to back me up. And then we'll see, Mr. Risley, how much fun it is down there while you twiddle your thumbs and ignore problems in this city. All right. Now, then the next one I got back was 28th of September. Okay. And this was from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, Office of Inspector General. Hotline received your submission on 28 September 17. The reference number is thus and so. Why wasn't my complaint accepted? What can I do now? The OIG does not accept allegations that do not meet one of our following criteria: VA-related criminal activity, systemic patient safety issues. Okay, well, I would think that being run over on a road trying to get around a fire plug or a palm tree or a stoplight post and so forth, and getting run over would probably be a systemic patient safety issue. Okay? And then a gross mismanagement of waste of VA resources and misconduct by senior VA officials, or because another government agency is better positioned to resolve the issue. So the Veterans Administration doesn't give a damn about veterans. I know that firsthand. My dad was a veteran, and he was appalled at the after 32 years of service and coming near death many times, and watching people die, his friends and so forth, and I did too during Korean War and Vietnam and so forth. But apparently VA doesn't give a damn, and I could go on for about 6 days on that one, and I am going to do a program on Veterans Administration and their lack of paying attention to the health and welfare of these people in these moldy buildings that they've got around here. And I've stirred it up a while back with that one. And I'm glad to do it for you veterans. So, I'd like to hear from some of you veterans out there. It's gsansing@gmail.com. Or, I'm easy to find. I've got cards out there. People know how to get a hold of me through various means. Okay? So, anyway, let's get with it, veterans. So the Veterans Administration isn't going to do anything. That encouraging Mr. Risley to not do anything, because he's not putting the city in the jeopardy that they need to be in to take care of business. All right. Then the Veterans Administration. This is in response to the complaint. Now, this one was October 3rd. See, that was a progression. The city answered first, then the VA did, and then now the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. Okay? This is in response to the complaint that you filed with this office alleging a possible violation of the Americans with Disability. I know it's not a possible one, it is a blatant. And it not only violates the federal laws, but also the state and our city compliance. Okay? If you want to look at code enforcement, and those people are about, I won't even get into that. That's a 5-hour discussion of how despicable code enforcement is around here and how ineffective they are. Okay? Unfortunately, because the section receives thousands of ADA complaints each year, we do not have the resources to resolve all of them. All you have to do there, Carmen Romero, Director of Intake Unit, Disability Rights Section, is write down here and say, you people better get busy and go ahead and correct these problems, or we will find the resources and the time to get our butts down there and take care of Mr. Risley, who says that, he doesn't have to do anything because of letters like this. Okay? And I'm spending a fortune on taxes and everything else around here. And then they give me this horse manure here on independent living centers. Okay? Now, what in the hell has that got to do with the compliance with ADA? Okay? Not everybody is going to go to one of these things. Okay? Disability Rights of Texas. Now, I've dealt with various Texas state things too, and folks, that's even worse than trying to get anything done with this city. It's an abomination. Okay? All right. Now, another thing I'm going to get into is City of Corpus Christi Utilities Department. Okay? Now, they've got a broken system down there now, or they're revamping all of their billing facilities and so forth and so on. So I had to go trucking down there. I actually dropped off a Public Information Act request, okay, for several things, like the invoices for spending, I think, let's see, how much money was this? It was a whole bunch of money. It was over $500,000 in 4 months to, the outside attorney. I think they were out of Austin. But anyway, so I paid my bill down there, and that was fairly painless. I mean, we've got some good workers down there, folks, and I'm not picking on all those poor people that have to tolerate, the administration of the city down there. I can only imagine what that's like. But when I paid this bill, and this is what really, we're being screwed, folks. I hate to put it that bluntly to you, in this city, okay? Now, here's my bill for $171.50, my utilities bill. It covers water, I don't have gas, okay, wastewater, and then the street fee, and then the solid waste and garbage, okay? Now, I'm just going to give you an overview of how much water I use. My water total consumption was a whopping $12.14. Okay? All right. Now, I do take a shower every day. I do some laundry. I'm single here. I live alone. And since my daughters moved out a while back, my utility bills have gone pretty low. Okay? So my total water, and then I've got something to 0.992 per 2,000 gallons, I guess that WRCA, whatever that is, was $1.98. So my total water bill was $14.12. Okay. Now, then I get down here, wastewater, $127.69. Now, I've taken a number of mathematics classes in my background, physics, chemistry, microbiology, and so forth and so on. And I've got mathematics classes through PhD efforts, okay, when I earned my PhD and my master's degree. But I can't figure out how in the hell I can only use $14.12 worth of water and then have to pay $127.69 for disposal for wastewater. That's a ripoff, folks. That's grand larceny. That's fraud, is what that is, okay? So I'm going to start fighting this at both the state and the federal level and see if we can't get some of this stuff straightened out around here, okay? And I'm going to start billing the city my hourly rate of $400 and some odd an hour as a consultant when I do it, okay? And it's going to be for you fine folks out there, and I hope that you will stand up and back me up on some of this stuff, okay? Now, then we had 2 letters to the editor. Water billing sleight of hand. This was by Robert Kent. Rather than continuing to estimate the wastewater generated by each home using winter averaging, which eliminates the water use for sprinkler systems and pools, starting in January, the city council directed the building department to bill wastewater based on total water consumption. Well, we're going to see. So if I consume $14.12 worth, then how much does it cost to dispose of that? $127. Somebody's raping and pillaging down there at the city, folks. Okay, and he goes on, about irrigation and so forth. Upsides to new city water billing. This was by David Varga. This is the opposite side of that, okay? This is in response to Mr. Kent's letter on the issue of now having to pay a wastewater fee for filling residential swimming pools or operating sprinkler systems. I have faced this issue for 12 years because I have a 24-foot by 24-foot garden in my backyard and 6 citrus trees which produce a lot of food for my family. On the flip side to this, as a 6-day-a-week runner around Alameda, Ennis Joslin, and Ocean Drive and Airline area, okay, I see so much blatant waste of our second most important resource from sprinkler systems. The area around South Shores is probably the worst. And he goes off on these people where the water's running down the street in the middle of a rain and the sprinklers are going and so forth and so on. Okay. Now, if I'm paying $127 for $14.12 worth of water, then when they waste thousands of gallons like that, I'd hate to see their wastewater bill. Or am I paying for that too? Okay? And I'm going to get to the bottom of it. You know, I can read a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. So there you go with that mess. Let's see, what else did I have here with the city that just burned me up? Okay. It says, this was this guy, Tom Whitehurst. Okay. And this is in regards to the commissioners that were appointed to the Port Commission. Okay. He was saying that 3 members reappointed to Port Commission seats. That was Mr. Zahn, Mr. Squires, and Mr. Bowers. And this came out on 12/21/17. 12/24, Mr. Whitehurst is in here, and I didn't totally follow exactly what he was talking about. He's a little hard to understand at times. You know, I guess maybe I took too many reading classes and so forth in my background. So it says, this year's round of appointments to the Port of Corpus Christi sneaked up on us. Otherwise, our editorial board would have made good on a promise that I am compelled by conscience to keep here now. There's no practical need now to encourage the Nueces County Commissioners Court to reappoint businessman Richard Bowers and lawyer Charlie Zahn, or to the city to reappoint drilling company operator Wayne Squires. They already did, but commending the decision makers and explaining why they're to be commended still is the right thing to do. Okay, so he goes on and praises the county for doing that. Okay, now then we've got allow progress, keep cars away from the bayfront. Now this one's that was an editorial. And let's see, I think that was December the 19th, and then letters to the editor connected to it. City Council should suspend old shoreline study before someone gets seriously injured. This is Diana Blunzer, Director, Art Center of Corpus Christi. So what they did is they opened up that old road down there, and I guess it's a total chaos right there at the Art Museum in particular, okay? Because what they have are people that are going wrong way on that, and you've got the food court there at the Art Museum and so forth and so on, okay, and the Art Center. Yeah, okay, Art Center of Corpus Christi, not the Art Museum, okay, and that's where they have that little restaurant in there and so forth. I think it's I forget what the name of it is. It's a very nice art center, folks, very nice. Okay, then I'll come back to the blatant misspending of hundreds of thousands of dollars by Delmar College. Okay? Now before I get on to that, I would also like to inform you that Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas has won that bid, okay, from the Employees Retirement System of Texas. Now when they did that, they low bid a very fine participant with this, okay. It was called the let's see, what was the name of that one? It was Health Select, and let's see, who did they replace? The one we had that was so good. Okay, I'll find it here in a minute. Okay, it's the plan that was prior to this. I think it was Health Select. Okay, now here's what's happened. My primary care physician of probably 18 years has refused to deal with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I have a lot of friends in this town that are physicians. I get along very well with them with my background in the medical research business, particularly antibiotics and different other factors involved with that. Then they are overall, I think, very disgusted with the actions and the philosophy and general performance of the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. Okay? So he has refused to do that, and so I get these letters from Blue Cross Blue Shield that they've taken over, and that I can go out and look for another primary care physician. Okay? Select a PCP. You need to choose a primary care physician. Your primary care physician coordinates your care and manages referrals. You may need to see specialists. If you see certain specialists without a referral from your PCP, you will pay more even if the specialist is in the Health Select network. Okay? So I'm supposed to go find a new physician. Now the problem with that is there are not too many other primary care physicians that are taking anybody. So you can't find one. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Get sick and go rot in the corner? Be damaged? Okay? And I tell you what, I do know how to file lawsuits, folks. I've mastered that one. Okay? And I'm even better at Public Information Act requests, which I sent to the Employees Retirement System of Texas and asked this bozo up there that's the head of it, Porter Wilson, who did thus and so. But let me continue on here. Okay? Then I get a letter from Blue Cross Blue Shield that said that we are writing to let you know that as of November 20th, 2017, the primary care physician you and or your dependents have on file with us has not joined the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas Health Select Network. And then they give the provider's name, primary care. Okay? Now, here's what I can do. Okay? Your in-network PCP benefits for the PCPs listed above, or the PCP listed above, will end December 31st. That's tomorrow. Okay, this means if you visit this PCP after December 31st, out-of benefits will apply. Out-of-network benefits will apply. And you will pay more for service beginning January 1. To avoid paying higher out-of-network costs beginning January 1, you need to select a new in-network PCP. We are happy to help you select a new one. Okay, to select a new PCP or for help finding one, I can do the following. Okay, or I can go online. I can do this, that, and the other. Okay, now, as a reminder, your PCP manages any referrals to specialists. It's important that you choose an in-network specialist to get the highest level of benefits from Health Select of Texas. Now, what I understand is Blue Cross Blue Shield has a policy that what they're going to do is pay less money for the primary care visits, okay, physicians' visits, than Medicaid does, or Medicare. Now, I don't know if any physician in his right mind that's going to take a reduction in that just to please the state and trying to shirk their duties. That's what they're doing. And I have some other information. It was August 8, 2017, change coming for state employees' health plans. Okay. Now, the Employees Retirement System of Texas provides health insurance for an estimated 440,000 people and is self-funded, meaning it establishes benefits and pays claims. Okay, but it uses a third-party administrator to manage a network of medical professionals and process claims. Okay, and then it goes on, and it says how wonderful this is going to be. So what they're going to do over 6 years is they're going to save about $40 million. Okay. So how are you going to handle that? Okay. So what they've done is and then according to the ERS analysis released in December, Blue Cross Blue Shield had 57,529 physicians and 453 hospitals in the Health Select of Texas provider network, compared to 59,000 physicians and 438 hospitals in United's Health Select of Texas provider network. Okay, well that looks like a decrease to me. The mathematics doesn't add up, folks. This is a scam. And then we had a letter from, I think that was here it is. Thousands struggle to find doctors who accept new state insurance plan. This was the 27th of September, and it came out from Channel 10 up in Amarillo, the KFDA, it looks like. Okay. And it says that people up there are having to travel from Lubbock from Amarillo up to Lubbock, a couple-hour drive just to find a primary care physician that'll take these clowns with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Okay? And then the beat goes on. And then I have several of my fellow faculty members and employees of Del Mar College that are rather upset about this. Thousands struggle to find doctors who accept new state insurance plan. That was in the American Statesman. Okay, now here's one of my cohorts. When I sent the information out, I said that we have to have some problems here, and we need to address those. And this was attached to an email from Tammy McDonald, who's the let's see, what is she? She's the guru of everything at Del Mar College. Okay, administrative update. They had a meeting. Okay, yeah, Vice President of Administration and Human Resources. And the meeting took place on December 1st over at the Center for Economic Development at Del Mar College, down the street from there. Then I sent out an email, a call for people to figure out why we're losing our primary care physicians and so forth and so on. Okay, and I get this back. This person's got the same primary care I did, and I'm not going to mention his name. Okay, Dr. So-and-so told me a week ago that his group gave up because BCBS would not even pay them as much as Medicare for patients they see on that lousy BCBS plan. Okay, I plan to call BCBS to see if an out-of-network doctor could make referrals to in-network specialists. That way I just pay out-of-network costs for seeing Dr. PCP, I'll call him, while still being able to see my regular specialist. And I have a list of 5 to 6 of those, all of whom fortunately are in-network, I think. Since I'm retiring in summer and moving to the hill country, I'll need a new doctor soon anyway. But for folks sticking around longer, this really sucks. I could not find a PCP before you stepped in to help me under your United Healthcare plan. I can only imagine how difficult it would be under this BS plan. Okay? And it is BS. United Health came up with 2 possibilities when I called them for help. A woman told them I didn't want a woman PCP, and an 88-year-old man. Those were the only 2 that were available. Dr. PCP made it pretty clear they just cannot afford to take patients under the contract offered by BCBS. I'd like to know of anything else you can learn. Okay? Well, that was one faculty member. And then here's another one. Yes, my family and I lost doctors we started with when we moved to Corpus about 6 years ago so I could join the Del Mar family. My primary care doc eventually tried to negotiate with BCBS for months, and we have been in limbo waiting to see if we could continue seeing that doctor. I have called his office weekly for an update. Just found out this morning the doc is sending me a letter this week to cut my family from his practice. Thank you, Porter Wilson and the ERS of Texas. Here's another one, a faculty member. I now have to pay up front for my bladder cancer treatments and subsequent procedures. I had to get a revised referral from my PCP indicating there are no other urologist groups in the area, let alone ones that take BCBS, in order to justify my seeing my urologist. Okay? I then submit my reimbursement request form to BCBS and cross my fingers. The treatments and procedures are expensive and add up quickly. BCBS tells me I have to say that they were nice on the phone. I will likely have to wait over a month for processing and perhaps more than that to see if any reimbursement comes my way. I was told to keep checking the status of my submission online and that and if I did not see progress, I should resubmit in case. Do you get the picture out there, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. And then I wrote back, this was to DMC All and so forth. After reading the great number of replies, I would like to suggest that the DMC administration invite our elected state senators and representatives to attend the December 1st, 2017 meeting and answer questions. I would also suggest asking Governor Abbott and the ERS Executive Director, Mr. Porter Wilson, and I give his telephone number, to attend or to watch online. Once again, this situation is total insanity. And I sent that out on November 27th. And to my knowledge, I don't know of any of the political, our state elected people that would have control over this bothered to show up. I understand that Mr. Hunter's talked to the president, and the president of Del Mar College, Dr. Mark Escamilla, is a little concerned because he has the same primary care physician as I do, and he was upset that the state has done this to everybody. And I'm checking on the Texas retirement system. That's usually the ISDs and so forth around, to see if they've been screwed around by having BCBS dumped on them too. And then we've got another faculty member who's married to a physician. My spouse has been a PCP in Nueces County for 35 years, so I've lived the medical mess care long enough to have a fundamental appreciation of the situation. Simply stated, we have too few PCPs and too many specialists. My spouse was a resident at Memorial back in so-and-so and so-and-so. Her program has been hacked and whacked away by employees for years and is now less than 50% staff when she started. Okay. Our healthcare industry spends way too much on specialists and their services and facilities and too little on basic health care. Okay? Now, I see where he's coming from there, being the husband of a primary care physician. Okay? But when you need a specialist, you need one. And it's true. There's no urology group around here that'll take it. I need an abdominal specialist too for my wonderful checkup, if you know which one I'm talking about. And the one that I have used over the years has sent me a letter saying that they no longer accept the insurance through ERS because they have switched to the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. Now, if you want to go into the thing, just go into your email, your system there, your computer system, and go online and look up the executive director of the Employment Retirement System of Texas, and it up crops Porter Wilson. Okay, under his guidance, ERS administrators programs. Under their guidance, ES administers programs that provide retirement, deferred compensation, and flexible benefits for more than 225,000 state employees and retirees. ERS is entrusted with an investment portfolio of more than $26 million and is responsible for managing the Texas Employees Group Benefits Program, which provides health coverage to more than 500,000 state and higher education employees, retirees, and families. So I guess TRS may be under this one. Okay. And what is your fiduciary responsibility as a state-appointed person, Mr. Wilson? Now, I filmed a lot of this. It was a Taxpayers Association show the other day, 30-minute show. It's called What's Happening in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I just put it on YouTube real quickly, and then I left a message with Mr. Wilson to please watch it. And, I think that the people up there that administer these things, they're politicians, essentially. They are basic, uncaring scumbags, is my assessment of these people. Okay? So what I did was I wrote a Public Information Act request to Mr. Porter on December 29th. Okay? That's when I mailed this thing out. Okay? And what I've done is I have asked for the copies of the bids that went out when they changed from the Health Select, and then BCBS got it. Okay, I want to know who had sanctioned that. I want to know what elected officials or state employees made the decision to go with BSBC or BCBS. Okay. And then I want documents and memos, agreements related to exact duties, obligations, and third-party administrator to manage a network of medical professionals and process claims. That's what this says in his biography. Right? Any and all code of ethics documents associated with the awarding of the contract. Now, there seems to be no code of ethics that's going to be followed by these clowns up there at the state level. So we've got, what, it said over 500,000 people that are being screwed around. I don't know, folks. Not to mention physicians. Okay. I want to know any and all complaints, written, email, or verbal, that have been received by ERS in reference to the awarding of the contract to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. Any and all negotiations that have been unsuccessful between BCBS of Texas and with any and all primary care physicians, hospitals, or medical care facilities in the state. I want to know where the problems lie. Okay. Now they'll dance around this one and give me all this garbage about, they've got to clear it with the Attorney General's office and all the rest of this garbage. I did have, and I've tried to get a hold of Todd Hunter's office, and that's impossible to do. And ask him where he sits. Isn't there some way that he, as a Texas House member, House of Representatives here, have just a little bit of pressure to put and correct this problem? Mr. Hunter? Okay, you know me well enough to know I'm not going to sit down and let this one pass by. And then I guess my question would be to him is, are you insured by ERS system? I don't know that you're an employee of the state. You're elected officials. I don't know if you guys participate in this insurance program or not. I would have to guess probably not. But I've called your district office many times with no answer, and I've called Austin and got to run around up there one day. And so I guess what I'm going to have to do is give you a Public Information Act request too, and hope that you have to answer that as an elected official. And then here's some more garbage from BCBS of Texas about Dear Gerald Sansing. We're writing to let you know that a new primary care physician needs to be chosen for Gerald Sansing because the one selected is no longer in your plan's network. Okay? That makes me feel better. And I can't believe that Delmar's not putting the moves on them. So another thing I would suggest that Dr. Mark Escamilla do is look into the fact that if Delmar College employees can divorce themselves from the employees' retirement system of Texas, since I'm employed by a state, not the state, but by Delmar College taxpayers, and see if we can get our own insurance. So there are a lot of things we can do, but everybody's going to sit around on their collective asses and do nothing. So that's not my style, folks. Now, here's another thing. Legal battle has cost Delmar $295,000. Now, a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Bruce Olson, okay, Colonel Dr. Bruce Olson, retired Army Colonel, full bird Colonel, Airborne Ranger Special Forces, and Vietnam veteran, okay. He went back and got his PhD in history, and then he started working with Delmar College. He's a very, very learned man, and he's a very, very good department chair. Okay, he's had a lot of experience taking care of people and administering things like that. Versus many of them over there at Delmar that don't have that high regard for faculty members. I know my department chair, I don't talk to him anymore. I refuse to. Okay. Now, Del Mar College has paid $295,705.02 in attorney's fees and expenses related to a legal battle with a former professor that spans back about 5 years, according to a public information request filed by the Caller Times. Okay? The contract at the center of the dispute was established during mediation for a settlement agreement between Del Mar and former history professor Bruce Olson. Del Mar College reached a settlement with Olson on 2 discrimination lawsuits in 2011. Now, when they went to mediation and then wrote the contract up, it was not, did not include, and it messed around with the agreements that were made in mediation, and that's expensive enough to go through that. Okay. Now, it just went to court in late November, okay? I think that's when it was. Let's see when this thing was done, executed. November 17th. This is the charge, court's charge to the jury. Now, what the jury did, there was a 6-man jury trial. This has been going on since 2011, essentially, okay? They locked Dr. Olson out after he refused to sign a contract that was not what the mediation had resolved. Okay? Now, it's been in and out of court. The first court case, the judge, in all of her infinite wisdom around here, ruled in favor of Del Mar College. And then it was appealed to the 13th Court of Appeals by Dr. Olson. The 13th Court of Appeals looked at it and said, "You got to be kidding us, court. The man's still employed." Okay. Then Del Mar spent a bunch of money taking that and appealing the 13th Court of Appeals ruling to the Texas Supreme Court. And the Texas Supreme Court upheld what the 13th Court of Appeals said. And then what the Texas Supreme Court did is it remanded it back into the trial. Okay? And that's when the jury came in. Okay, now the original was just a petition by Del Mar College, which the the judge down there agreed with them. So it didn't really go to a trial, but it went to trial, and then Dr. Olson was awarded a great deal of money. It says about $544,000 for damages plus $120,000 for attorney's fees associated with the litigation that spans back 5 years, court records show. $295,000. Now, what's going to happen now that a jury came up and rendered a decision? It's back in for this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, going back and forth. And the judge has, I think, signed off on the jury end of it. But Dr. Olson said, with that in mind, and the jury has spoken, I want to go back to work. Well, the judge says, no, she's not going to sanction that. Okay? Now, then, in the face of that, we have a general counsel over there, Mr. Augustin Rivera, and then the guy's name is McKinney. I don't know what his first name is. He's a clown that's from the insurance company that we pay millions of dollars in premiums to every year, and he's a real doozy, folks. Okay, a real nice guy. He gets upset and shouts at the witnesses and so forth and so on. Gets real horsey. Asked me if I was qualified to render a legal opinion on what I thought, and I said no, but I can read, and my degree's higher than yours, pal. My terminal degree. Okay, I'm not a doctor of jurisprudence. Okay. What can I say? But I can read. I do have a conscience. Thank God, I'm not an attorney. Most of the attorneys I know, not all of them, folks, who've got the good, the bad, and the ugly, but most of them are so eaten up with their, conceit that they can't see anything. They think their bowel movements don't stink, and so forth and so on. Okay? So now what we're going to do is Mr. Augustin Rivera with Mr. McKinney with the insurance company and with some expensive help from this clown by the name of Christian out of Austin group up there. I think it's Graves, Daughtry, and Heron and somebody else up there. They hire him to come down here, and I understand he's pretty much a nudnik when it comes to his demeanor in court. And, you know, here we're going to pay another $295,000 to have another jury come in. Now, if I were the jurors that rendered that opinion and so forth and so on, I'd be red hot mad with Del Mar College and the judge and everybody else for not taking care of business. And now I don't know how many more lawsuits are going to be coming forth from Dr. Olson. So it's going to get real expensive out there, folks. Just one of them's cost you $295,000. And then who's going to pay the $544,000 damages and $120,000 for attorney fees? Okay. And then, you know, insurance rates are going to go up. I need to find out, and I think I've got a Public Information Act request in. If I don't, I'll turn one in the first of the month, January, and ask for how much our insurance company's gone over there, because this isn't the first time we've had to spend outside counsel and insurance monies to blackball faculty members and staff members. Okay? I mean, it's incredible over there. These people lost their minds. So when you go to the polls, let's get rid of that 3 of these Board of Regents members over there for Del Mar College, replace those and put some pressure on Mr. Trey McCampbell, who's the president over there. And he's cost us more money than you can ever consider. And then I'm going to get into that Southside building. I mean, we're going broke, folks. You're going to be encumbered for about $600 million in the near future because of these people on the Board of Regents down there. Some of them, not all. We do have a qualified CPA on there now that's keeping a close eye on them. But it's virtually impossible to talk to these people. Okay? And then the charge here from the judge to the to the jurors. Do not look up any words in dictionaries or on the internet. You're supposed to go into that room and just discuss things. So you can't look up any words. Okay? And do not let bias, prejudice, or sympathy play any part in your decision. Base your answers only on what was presented in court and on the law that is in the instructions and in these instructions and questions. Do not consider or discuss any evidence that was not presented in the courtroom. And like I say, those 2 attorneys did a lousy job of what they were supposed to do. Okay? And then we've got William Christian. Okay, he's the one from Graves, Daughtry out of Boston up there. So Jack Gordy, who's my vice president of the Taxpayers Association, has requested of Dr. Mark Escamilla. He said, I hereby request the following information in accordance with the Texas Freedom of Information Act. Okay, I expect a response within 10 working days after receipt of my request. There should be no excuse or reason for Del Mar College not to answer this request. What I am requesting is considered to be public information. I am therefore requesting a copy of the invoice/bill that was submitted to Del Mar College by attorney William Christian or his law firm for the following. On December 7, 2017, attorney William Christian came to Corpus Christi to represent Del Mar College in the appeal of the lawsuit that the jury ruled in favor of Bruce Olson. I want the invoice bill that covers the total entire amount that was billed, charged to Del Mar for all and any services related to this case, including the cost of everything including the travel expense if charged. Okay. Now, I've had some problems with the Public Information Act request. I have people stalling it around and, manipulating. Del Mar's famous for that. I remember when I filed a Public Information Act request in concert with a CPA several years ago. Del Mar came back and said it was going to be about $28 $28 million to provide me with that information. Wound up costing us zero. Now, Christian's name came up too when I was trying to get some information and complain about things, and I got the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas that is big in the news and so forth and so on. Kelly Shannon is executive director of the Freedom of Information Foundation. Transparency, access to information in government leads to real news. Okay, here's a forum by Kelly Shannon. That's the one that runs this thing, or she's the top person there, the executive director. Now, I went to them after they had sent me some information about thank you for past support of open government and how we want some more money. And here you can go ahead and spend you can freedom, let's see, here are the awards. The Freedom Fighters, Diamond, $10,000 plus if I want to donate that kind of money. The Emerald is $5,000 to $999,000. Okay. Platinum is $2,500 to $499, and gold was $1,000 to $249. Okay, and then the individuals, Freedom, a designation is a grand. James Madison $500 to $999, Jefferson $250 to $499, Thomas Paine and so forth, and then Samuel Adams is $25 to $99. Now, I have donated to them in the past, and then I tried to get them to take a complaint that I had to the board and their investigation board, and they said, oh, well, one of the members of our review is William Christian, the very people you're complaining about with Graves Daughtry. Okay? So then I told them that I wasn't going to donate any more money, and the reason why, and I sent them an information request for their own foundation. Here it is, it's still sealed up. I sent it certified return receipt. Okay, and this was, I think, back in, it looks like July. But it says, return to sender, unclaimed, unable to forward. And it's got their own label on here. The Freedom of Information, Texas, and so forth and so on. What kind of organization is that? So if you're approached to donate money to this, thinking that they're going to help you be able to obtain the public information, I've got a real hot flash for you. Now, I've got mixed emotions about showing you this, but I've had several of the Taxpayers Association members allude to this, and with all the stuff that's dumped on us around here, folks, the taxpayers are the ones that have to suffer. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and flash it up here. It's probably not in the best of taste, but neither am I at times. But here's the a classic example of what the taxpayers have to get. This is what happens to us. Okay, this is how we fill our bags around here. Okay, I hope you can see that. So that's still enough. You can see that young lady holding the bag, and that's what taxpayers get around here. We get stuck with holding the bag for all the rest of these people around here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Just thought you'd be aware of that. I've got some other topics I'm going to bring up at a later date. So I just want to go ahead and ask you to please email me, gsansing@gmail.com. And I'll be right back. I'm going to show you a close-up of those beautiful roses. Okay, I'm back. I've got about a minute, maybe a little bit over that. But please let me know. And if you are a disabled person here, or a person with a disability, and you need sidewalks widened and so you can pass, and if you are even a mother out there, or a dad, or both, that don't have vehicles and you have to take a stroller and run it up and down the sidewalks around here in order to get to your job or to shopping or whatever, then the last thing I need is a lawsuit because somebody has to go around the stoplight pole over there at Tarleton and Ayers and get run over, either in that Quickie store parking lot or in Ayers Street. Okay, and then same thing over there on Everhart, and I think that's right about Holly. I've seen that one over there too. And the city will not do anything about it, folks, because they don't have to, because your federal government doesn't give a damn about you. So veterans out there, please contact me if you're disabled, and anybody else. Just feel free. I'll be right back.